Assume- Okay, I just want to say good morning. My name is Scotty. I am the Market Center Tech Trainer in Leesburg, Virginia, and I am going to be talking to you all this morning about Docusign and compliance. Is there anybody who has any questions before we get started? And is there anybody in here that is not, that is in a Market Center that does not use Docusign? Okay, great. So we've talked about the opportunities, you've talked about all those different ways, and the easiest thing to do is to just jump right in this and kind of show you how everything works. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, great. So when you go into your opportunity, you can look at them in two ways. So you'll come up with this first one. So if you know where it is, you can do that. I find it's a little easier to go ahead and click all opportunities. And then I can find the one I'm looking for and click on that. So the first thing it shows you is this details. If you know the details, you can fill those out. It's important that you want to remember, it sounds silly, but you know, after all the COVID stuff we've gone through, you want to remember CDC, command, Docusign to command. So whatever you start your transaction in command, you're going to move to Docusign, and then you'll come back into command to finish it out. Any information that you put in this detail section or that you put into command is going. Can we make sure we're all muted this morning? Please. Thank you. Anything that you put into this into command will translate over to Docusign. Anything you put into Docusign will not translate back to command. So that's kind of an important thing to remember. You're going to fill in as many details as you can here. And then you're going to head over to documents. And we're doing this as a listing. So it says this here to remind you, and I can't tell you how many times people just kind of jump over it. To start work with the opportunity, please select a checklist type first. And what they're talking about is over here to pick the checklist type. So you want to drop down here and pick which state you're working in. And so this is going to give you all of the required documents that you have and whether or not they're conditional. So these are the things that are going to have to be in here in order for you to get paid. It also helps you remember, if you're a newer agent, the different things that you have to get filled out by your clients. So they're going to go up here to start a transaction. And the first time you log into Docusign for the day, it's going to ask you for your email and your password. I've already done it today, so it's not going to ask me for that. So it's going to lead you into your room. Now, typically by choosing that state first, your documents would be auto-filled in here, but ours kind of did a little blip when we did the information update on July 1st. So because our area uploads the documents on July 1st and January 1st every year. So, but when that's working again, they'll all be here. Until then, you come over here to add. You're going to go down to Docusign forms. And it's going to show you the different, just the list of the forms. Now over here in your groups, every office will be different, but this is our groups for, I'm licensed in both Virginia and West Virginia. So I've got documents for both of those states. And there'd be a whole lot more if I was licensed in Maryland as well. So we're doing this as a listing. So this is a listing for Virginia. So I'm going to click that one, and automatically it's going to give me the needed documents that I need. So I can go ahead and click up here to do all of them at once and hit add selected. And so now we see all of the documents that I need in my, this is called a room. So the first thing when you come into Docusign, you can upload your documents, but the first thing you want to do before you open anything is go over here to details. So you're going to click on this details tab. And this is going to give you the information that Docusign has. Now it's pulled over information. You can see here where it has their name already, and it's got their email address, and it's got the address of the property, because this is the information I'd already put into command. So if I click edit on this, it's going to show me that I can add some information in here. So I'm going to go in, and this is my seller. And so it's automatically put my seller in the right place. So I'm going to enter in their phone number. And then there's email. So the information, any information that I would need. We've already got the address listed for the property. And then you can put in the legal description. And so any of this information that you fill in will auto-populate into your forms. I usually scroll down to the very bottom and make sure that my information as the listing agent is correct. Here's our office address, and then I'm going to scroll to the bottom, and it will not auto-populate this, and I do not know why. But if you go to the very bottom of the form, it's going to the listing broker. So I need to put in my listing broker's name and his email. Okay, this is the most important part, because I cannot tell you how many times I then exit out of the screen and go to the next place without saving it. Right down here on the bottom, it says save. You're going to want to click that. If you just go up here and click to documents again, everything you just typed will be gone. I've done that several times. So then you jump back into your forms, and you start with the first form that you need to fill out, whichever one you decide you want to work on first. If you click on, this is our listing form, the exclusive right to sell. And it's nearly the same as filling it out on a piece of paper. So you're just going to add in your date. And it should auto-populate the names. If you had a second name, you'd add that here. Go down to the property information. I try to fill out as much of this as possible before I go to a listing personally, and some people fill it out in front of them. But the tax ID information, that's all the things you'd find in the MLS. So you fill out which part of the legal description you need to, and then you've got your seller's information that you fill in, and then all of this information here. You just basically go down it and fill it out like you would if it was a regular contract sitting in front of you with a pencil. So you go through all the pages and you fill out all the information. And when you're done filling it out, you're going to hit save and close. We've gone through all these forms, we filled them out, and we are ready to send them. So there's two ways. When you send it, think of like putting it in the mail. It's an envelope. So you're going to create an envelope that's going to allow you to be able to send it to your client. So you're going to pick the documents that you want to put in the envelope. And then you have all these up here. You've got create an envelope, you've got download, you have archive, you have delete. I would encourage you really never to use this button, because it can have implications with the amount of time we're supposed to keep records. You can combine documents, you can email them to yourself or somebody else. You can move them, which I'll show you in a minute, and you can copy them. So right now, I'm just going to show you how to send them to a client. Take these two, I'm going to put them in an envelope to send them out.
Mom.
It's been successfully created, not sent. There's nothing sent yet. So you're going to come in here, up here under the envelope name. Don't leave that on Please Docusign, because if you do, you're going to have Please Docusign under the name of every single envelope. So you're going to fill in the envelope name and let you personally know what's in this envelope. So this is the listing agreement. And our DPOR disclaimer disclosure. So that's for my information. Now I'm going to come down here where it says the messages to all recipients. And I'm generally going to change this Please Docusign to Please Read and Docusign. Your client doesn't care that it's the listing agreement in DPOR. You can change it to that if you'd like to, but it's not necessary. And then you can enter them a message. Now, there's two ways you can do this. I go over my documents in person with my clients, then I come back to the office, fill them out, and email them to them. So they've already had the opportunity to answer, ask and answer, have questions answered, or you can send it to them and go over it with them on the phone. I don't recommend that you just send them and let them, and trust that they're going to read through them. You want to make sure you're going over these documents with your clients so that they know what the information is that they're signing. So you have these documents and they're ready to go. You've done your message. Then you're going to go to add recipient. Now there's two ways you can add recipient. I'm going to show you the best way because it will save you a ridiculous amount of time. So when you're going to add recipient, I'm going to encourage you to always use the pre-tagged roles, because what that does is it automatically tags all the information you need and the places you need people to sign by what the Docusign, the company, has set up for those roles on that sheet. So if you use pre-tagged roles, you're going to come in and this is my seller. So seller one, I'm going to select, and it gives you kind of people who are already attached to this. So my sample client. And then I'm going to come down, and because I'm allowed to sign for my broker, I don't need to send it to him. I'm going to send it to myself as the broker. And then we only have one client. So if you had a second one, you could put it there. If this was buyer's documentation, you can fill out your buyers. It gives you the information to be able to sign for them. So we're going to add them in those roles. Now, I don't want to sign this before my clients had a chance to sign it. So we have 1 and 2. So I want to get it after my client has signed it so that I know. So I'm going to move myself into the number 2 status. If I had someone else that I wanted to send this to who's not a part of this contract, I can send it the second way by email address. So let's say I have an assistant, or I have someone else who needs to get a copy of it. I can have them that they need to sign it, that they just need to view it, that they receive a copy, or that they're a witness for a signer. So they just need to get a copy because this is my transaction coordinator. So once you've done all that, you're going to go up here to next. You're going to click on next. It's going to take you back into those documents so that you can see that everything was tagged properly and put in the right place, and add anything additional that you need to add to it. So up here, you're going to see 2 different colors for the 2 different people that need to sign it. So there's my client, and there's me or my broker, depending. And so this is going to show you the documentation. You're going to come down and it's going to have autofill the information that you need. And my client has to sign it here, and then it needs to be dated. And this is your chance to do a second look through if you've forgotten to put in a date, if you forgot something. You can go over here, and there's 2 different ways you can add. Any information you add here is going to be seen by your client. If you need to add something because you forgot their mailing address, you go into the little pencil here, which is pre-filled tools, and you're going to click text. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to fill in their mailing address. And then you can change the size of the box to make it fit. And then you can come down here. If I need them to check something or I need to add a checkbox, I can add that checkbox here. I can have them check it. If I want to add a radio box, let's say right here, as is marketing. I forgot to ask them what they needed, so I can check radio. I'll click this, and it will automatically ask me, where do you want the second box? So I'm going to put it right here. So this lets the computer know that they need to choose this one or this one. I can add another box if it's got 3 choices, and we can have, you need to pick one of these 3, but I don't need that third one, so I can take that out. So now it says, tells my client that they need to pick one of these 2. Go back through the documents. I've checked everything. Looks okay. Go down to the bottom because I want to confirm. Believe it or not, they just made our contract shorter, but we go to the bottom of the page, and this is where my seller is supposed to sign, and then my broker will sign here with the date. So I know everything's correct. Now, if I want to see what this looks like before my client gets it, I can click up here on preview. And if they open that email on a desktop, I can see who right up here, which one of my clients is looking at it. If they open this email on a desktop, it's going to look like this. They're going to click here to sign, and they're going to click here to sign. And then I can't finish it, but that's what they're going to do. And then this will show you what it'll look like on a tablet.
Scotty, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
It seems you edit this disclosure statement. Do you have to do that every single time, adding the buttons, or is it once you do it once, then it's stored, and then you can just kind of like use it again?
What do you mean?
Like I saw that you started adding like the radio buttons and the like where the check marks and stuff like that. I assume that's the standard document.
Okay, so yeah, that's an excellent question. Those are there for you to fill out initially. The way I was showing you is if you'd forgotten to fill it out, that if you're editing it in that inside the envelope, that is only for the information for that particular document. It won't save any edits you make in the envelope will not save to your back to the room. It's only for that document you're sending. So it's like if you were just making an edit on a letter right before you sent it, you scratched something out and sent it, but it wouldn't be like on the thing that you printed on your computer.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's just for that particular envelope of documents. If you need to have that change made in the document itself, you have to go back to the room and do that. I'll show you in just a second. So this just kind of
Okay.
gives you an idea of what it looks like. Mostly on the phone is probably where most people are going to be using it. So you can see just how it'll be. Click out a preview, and when you're ready to go, you hit send, and it sends it along to them in order. So it'll send it to my client first, it'll send it to me second to sign. And then if you need to go back because you found an edit that you need to make that is not in, you want to put it in the whole room. So if you found that you wanted to make an edit, what you can do is, if you need to add another document, you can go back here to the room docs and pick which document that you want to add. So I still want to add the lead paint disclosure. I can add the selected document. And then, oh, I really didn't need to send the D-port thing yet, so I'll take that out. Now, if you want to make a change to one of these documents permanently before you send it, because maybe you filled out something wrong, you can hit save and close. So you don't have to send it when you're done. You can go back into your documents here and make the changes. You go back into documents back here, you make the changes, and then you've got to reattach it. So if you come back into this envelope, you may, by the time you're done with the contract, have several, because every time you do this, send a different set of documents, it's going to give you a different, like you'll have stacks of documents. You can see how, if you just wrote, please, Docusign for every single thing, you have no idea what's in here. You've got to open all these. So you go back in here. Once you create this envelope, the document that you put in here is your document. Like that's it. So you have to, if you want the one that you changed in the room, it doesn't automatically take that over. You've got to take this one out, and then you've got to go back and re-upload the one that you wanted to add. The changes will be made. And then I realized, oh, they don't need to get a copy till after it's been signed by my broker, so I can change them to number 3, go back in. Now I want to show you one more thing that you can do with this, which is nice. As you're going in here, every once in a while, Docusign will do something silly to you, like populate something in the wrong place. If that happens, you want to get a hold of your tech trainer and let them know so that they can put in, they can let somebody at Docusign know. But let's say so this is all our and none of this has been filled out. So my sellers have to fill out all of this when they send it. This is the lead disclosure. So they'll click what they need to do. Since I haven't clicked it already, they'll click what they need to do and sign it. This is part of that pre-tagged roles, which makes it great. But let's say we need to cross something out. We can go with a line. You can cross this out. You can change the thickness of the line. So when this becomes handy is, let's say we need this line to say something else. You can change the color of the line to white. And now you're kind of creating a whiteout sort of thing. And then you can rewrite some text over the top of it. And then just change that. So that's gonna, every once in a while, like I've had it throw my broker's email where it's supposed to be mine or vice versa. So I definitely don't want them emailing my broker instead of me. But those are the different things that you can use. And the red line's handy when you're working with clients to decide what you want to keep and not in a contract. So it's pretty handy to be able to do that and be able to red line things out. And then these are the different edits that will be seen only by that client, that'll be handled by that client, which is why these are yellow, because my sample client's going to do these. And if I want to see which parts is mine, then this is the part where the broker signs will all be in blue. So if I was ready to send it from here and I knew it was right, I could just click send and it would head out. When you are in your rooms and you start adding documents, you are going to notice that as you're filling things out and when you're pulling things in, everything's going to kind of, it's just going to get really full. So a way around that is you can create folders, which helps a lot to kind of pull things together. So we're going to go back to our room. And go back to the room. We're going to look at our list of documents. We've got like 4 in here. So these are my listing documents. So I can come up here to this actions button, click this and add a folder. So I'm just going to call these my listing documents and I'm going to hit create. So all of these that say form right here, that means that these are editable forms. These are the ones that you pulled through and this is what they look like. If we go into a different room and I can show you, let me see who I was working on yesterday. Go into these documents, I've created some different folders. When you get things back, you're gonna get these certifications back after people sign them. So this certifies where they sign them, when they sign them, and that these signatures were, tells you the metadata basically for the signature. So you're gonna get a lot of certifications as people are signing things. These are my listing documents, my forms, and then these are the documents that are just in my room. So I have the signed notice of agency and these land rights. So then I can create another folder because I have one folder that's listings, the listing docs. I have another folder that's the certifications. So I can create another folder for the signed documents. And those are the ones that are in green with the check mark. So then I'm going to take these right here. If I click them and then create the folder, it will put them in for me, but I didn't do that. So now I can go ahead and just click up here and find your correct one. So I can move them. And I want to put them in a folder in the current room. And I want to move them into signed. So now I only have these. These are the leftover documents that I need to do. I'm going to put this one in the certifications. Now all I have is these 3 documents. If you're done with a document, I know I'm not going to use these again. I can click on these and I can move them into archive with one button. And so all it does is just get them out of the way. So now when I come in this room, there's no documents. So if somebody brings a contract, I can throw it in here. So some other things you can do in Docusign are for documents that you have to fill out the same information every single time, like at the bottom of the contract. You can go up here into My Docs. And you can create a form template. So you're going to go up to form templates. When it lets you. We have in the chat here. Your listing broker is the person that is the broker for your market center. So for my market center, it's Rick Cockrell. He's the listing broker. He's the broker for a lot of different areas in our group. But yeah, it's the broker for the market center. So these are the templates that I've created. So when you have like the residential sales contract template, let's see, we'll do it Virginia form so you're not confused. So we're going to come into this form. You would create a form template. And I'm going to get one from the Northern Virginia Association of Realtors. And I'm going to use this form here. First thing you want to do is come up here where your little pencil is, and you want to change the name of it so that you know when you created this form. That way, if they make changes to the form, you will know which form it is. You can change the name of it too. This form is called the optional lease listing information sheet, but then it's called information for making a lease offer. So you can change the name of it to anything you want. And I put the date on there so that I know. I hit the checkbox. So creating this template is only for information that you want to populate every single time. So we'll always override anything you put into Docusign. So you don't want to do like the date or the landlord's name. You want the information that you will find you are consistently typing all of the time. This kind of information. So if this is for the listing brokerage information, so we're going to put in our information here. So our brokerage phone number, the license number in Virginia, what's the agent email. You're going to fill out that information. Then you're going to hit save and close. Then when I go in to get this form next time, I'm going to go into my room. And if I need to pull in that document, hold on, this wasn't the room. I need to pull in that document and go into Docusign Forms. And search that document. In the appropriate library. So here's my optional lease information sheet. Now it's going to ask me, do I want it just regular how it comes, or do I want to add my template? So which template do I want to add if I had more than one? I'm going to click on the one I want, that's 722, and then I'm going to add it. And now when I open up that document to fill it out, well, in theory, but now there's problems, so we'll see. I go down, it's got all of my information already in there. With the information that Docusign had, but the information that I've put in is overriding the other. If I did this and I uploaded the wrong form, I can click here. There. I right click on these three little dots right here, you can click apply form template. So this is handy when your forms auto-populate into your Docusign. And then they won't auto-populate with your templated forms, so you can apply your form template that way. This is the template I want to apply. And in theory, it would be there, but I probably saved it wrong. But when I go back into my docs, I'll be able to see the listed templates that I've made. So for instance, I think I've created a template with this one. Maybe not. This is a new one. So that's how you're going to work with some documents on Docusign. Are there any questions here? So when you go back, so we're doing command, Docusign, command. So we're going to go back to command once we have the information that we need. And we're ready to bring documents over. I'm going to go into a different, we're going to go into compliance. So this is where we need to upload our documents to get paid and to get them approved. So you're going to go into your listing, into that opportunity. You're going to go back over to documents. So these are the things that are required. So in order to submit it to the Market Center, I've got to get them over. Now there's a couple different ways I can do this. I can do it from Docusign, or I can download it from my computer. But it's a whole lot easier to do it from Docusign. So I'm going to attach files from Docusign. And then my working folder on this, these are my different folders. Listing, certifications, and signed. So I'm going to go to my signed documents. And I'm going to pull down menu. This is my listing agreement. So here it is for my land exclusive right to sell listing agreement. Got to upload the tax record, which I don't have at the moment. And then my notice of agency disclosure. So I believe I have the tax record in my files. I'm going to go to my computer. Now it's asking me where it is. I have the tax map, but we'll pretend like that's the right thing. And then I don't need the lead paint addendum. It says conditional. I don't need it because this is just land. And when I'm ready, I'm going to click submit it to Market Center. And then I'll have it approved or not. And if it's not approved, I can add a comment. They will let me know by sending a note, and you'll get a notification, which would show up right here, that let you know if there was something that needed to be corrected. They'll send you a message. You also, I don't know if anyone's shown you, but you can add the MLS listing. I'm not sure if I can remember where it goes. If you add the MLS listing to it, it makes their life easier for you. This very moment, I can't remember where to go to do it. That's how you're going to get paid. So you're going to do that for each section in your documents. So you're going to do that under listed. Then I'm going to submit those. Then when it's under contract, I'll submit those documentations. And then it's once it's closed and they receive the check, they'll have it. It's very important that you change this up here, this little, your sell sign. If it's a buyer, if it's a seller, if it's a listing, it's easy. You do this at the very beginning and give them the appropriate address. If it's not a listing, you wait till they find the right place, and you can change this, but you need to change, this is what the listing is called. And it's really important because this is how your market center is going to search that when that check comes in. They're going to search it by address. So we can go back into Docusign for a few minutes, and we've got our files. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Okay. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I haven't told you. There's a couple different things. Let's see. You have the ability to, let's see, what do we have? They'll post the recording for today on the Dave Donaldson's website, the Virginia, his YouTube page, the Virginia's region technology YouTube page. So the you can also add items from your computer. So you can go up here under add, you can add them directly from your computer. And kind of an interesting trick is you can also add them from email. So if you go into inbox, this is your address for Docusign email. So if I want to send myself a document by email, I can use this email address to send it. And if I put the room ID number in the title of the email, the subject line, then it will give me, it will send this document directly to my room. So where is that information found? If you go into your room, and this is your room ID right here. So if you copy and paste this into the subject line on your email and you use your Docusign email address, it will put that document that you email right into here. It will put it in as a PDF, but if you drop in a PDF, I think I have one. Let me see if I can find it. Let me add a PDF on my computer so you can see how to add a signature line. This is just a PDF from my computer. So I want to create an envelope and get a new one. Add my room doc. There's my referral information form. And add my recipient. And because this is a PDF, the pre-tagged roles disappears because there are no pre-tagged roles on this form. So I'm just going to add my email address. They're going to need to sign it. Change my email subject. I'm going to go on to the next one. And then if I need to add a signature line at the bottom, I can have all this filled out ahead of time. Sign this. So we've got our signature line. And we're going to put the signature here. And then we're going to add our date right here. because it's not a pre-tagged role. And if you forgot and did it not as a pre-tagged role, you can go through and add every single signature. And if something needs to be initialed, you've got your, I need to put my initials here because we made a change. I need to fill this out. I can go over here, add a text box. Change the size of my text box to make it fit properly. And then when I'm ready to send it, I can send it out. If I need to go back, and if you need to edit an envelope, you can go in and edit the envelope as long as no one has signed it. If someone has signed it, go into your envelopes to sign it. I'm just going to go on a different Docusign. Of course, I want one that doesn't have an envelope. Save and close. If no one signed it and you go in and make an edit, everything's fine. If someone has signed it, it will tell you somebody signed it and then it's in process. You can still make an edit, but no one who's already signed it will be able to make a change. In which case, if you don't need this, you can just delete it before anybody signed it if you don't need to send it out. If somebody's already signed it, it'll ask you if you want to void it, and you can click void. And so it's just not sitting there telling you that it's waiting. You can void it, and then it's going to ask you for a reason, and it's going to, you want to tell it why. Information was incorrect, wrong date, whatever, you know, and I need to make it an edit change, that's fine. Or, you know, whatever, however you want to word it, like the buyer wants to lower the price or what have you. And so when you're done, you just close out of Docusign, go back into Command, and put your documents back in here. And that's what we mean by Command, Docusign, Command. So you're going to upload the documents in here so that they're in the right place. And when I'm ready to submit it to the Market Center, I would submit it. And I think that's pretty much the whole thing. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. I have a question.
Okay.
So it seems once you created an opportunity, a lot of the kind of prescribed documents were available. Is that always the case with the new agent, or should we go into Docusign and play with like all the documents that we're quote unquote plan to be using on a frequently basis, and then have them stored in our room, and then, you know,
So
because
you,
the thing is, a lot of those, like the listing agreements and stuff like that, when I go into DocuSign, I don't see them. But it seemed like when you went from Command to DocuSign, you automatically had all the like documents ready.
so usually it's going to be, it'll either be they're here or it's completely empty. But if it's empty, you're going to go up here to add. Now, do you mean that when you go to add, you don't see any options under DocuSign forms? You don't see any options for you?
No, so like I went to DocuSign and it says DocuSign e-signature, and like when I went to the home, and like I don't see any of those documents
Okay, so
listed.
e-signature is a completely different section of DocuSign. Is your
Okay.
DocuSign set up? You're a new agent?
Yes.
Okay, so okay, the way to find out is you're going to go into Command, and you're going to drop down up here, and you're going to go into your settings,
Okay.
and then when your settings open up, yeah, if you're not seeing anything in DocuSign, it probably hasn't been. You want to look here under Applications, where it says DocuSign. It needs to say that it's connected.
Yeah, it's connected. Mine says connected.
Okay, then if you go into Docusign, and you go on here, over here, under this profile, because if it comes up under E, it should come up under rooms, not e-signature. That's a whole different section of Docusign. So the first time you log into Docusign, it should ask you to add your NRDS number. And that's how you're going to get that. If you're a part of an MLS, you're going to get that information. So can't remember where it goes, to be honest, because once you do it, you never have to do it again.
It locked me out of DocuSign. Oh, same thing.
Oh, it's okay. I'll just type in my verification code. I guess I'm never supposed to give anybody that number, but whatever. So here's. I'm not doing all that right now. Somewhere in here that you add your NRDS number, but once you add it, you don't ever really have to mess with it again. And this is where it'll put in it. Scott LaRue Marketing does this part. But I can try to help you with that in a bit if you need it, or if you have a tech trainer at your office, they can help. They should be able to help you with that pretty easily.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm going to the office later on today, so I can ask the tech trainer. It does say connected apps, and it does say Keller Williams Realty.
So you may
similar
not
to
have
yours.
entered your NRDS number in there.
Okay.
And that may be where the problem lies, because if it does, when you click over from command, it should go into Docusign Rooms automatically. So if
Okay.
it doesn't go into Rooms automatically, I mean, there's ways to access Rooms from like just the web. You could type in rooms.docusign.com and log in, but if you do it from command, it'll dump you into the right room automatically. It's automatically linked. So you want to stay in the habit of like doing it from command so that everything links up in the right place. Because if you go into room and create a room, it will not reverse sync with command.
Okay.
So anything you do in DocuSign doesn't necessarily communicate with command, but anything you do in command will communicate with DocuSign. But if you go into rooms, like on the web and create a room, and you didn't do it through command, when you try to get there from command, it will not take you back. It'll create a whole brand new room for you.
Okay, so I did the Rooms DocuSign like you said, and now it's telling me congratulations, and it tells me to authorize. So I assume this is where.
And did you get over there from command, or did you just type in rooms.docusign.com?
I just did Rooms.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So you want to make sure that you go into like just create a sample. I mean, you want to mess around in there. So create a sample, like a sample client, or use yourself, mom, your brother, son, whatever. And go in there and do that from command so that you can see how it interlocks.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Are there any other questions? It's a pretty quick day, the last day. It doesn't end up being the full 2 hours. So I think that's pretty much it, unless I don't think I missed anything. The compliance stuff is, it's fairly easy, but it's really important. And if you don't put it in there ahead of time, I mean, it can really get away from you after you've gotten paid, and then you have to upload all this stuff. So if you kind of get in the habit of getting it done about the same time everybody signs everything, the last thing you'll have to do is kind of hit the compliance thing, and then the check comes in and you don't have to think about it and you can get paid automatically, versus forgetting to do it. And now you have to upload all of the documentation from the beginning. And that's a little frustrating.
Can I
Yeah.
question about downloading from MLS. You made a comment that you can pull information from MLS, and I wasn't sure how
Okay,
you
so
did that.
so you can go into Docusign and do it under details. When you put in the details here, you can put in the MLS ID and do it that way. And then when you're going into command and you create your opportunity, it's going to ask you for an address. So you come in here to the general information. And there's somewhere in here, I'm just trying to remember where it is. Sad part is I've done it, but only once. The property address. When you type in your address, it's going to match it with the zip code information. Like the post office stuff. So if it's the wrong address, it's going to tell you it's not going to work. So at least you'll know if you've got the right address, which is handy. I don't know where it is. Sorry, I'm not better prepared. Let me see. Under the listing. Here it is. Okay, so yes, you click on that click on that, the address up there. Once you've got that address put in, click on that sale sign, and it's going to give you I have a listing. Put this in yesterday. Let's see. Well, it's pulling, the reason is this is land. So you can pull right here from the MLS number. Let's see if that works. It's land instead of residential sale, but let's see. But that's how you do it. So, so if you've got, yeah, sorry about that. Just trying to see if it'll work. And think about the fact that it's land versus a residential sale. Here we go. It's going to ask you a bunch of questions too. Right. And I'd go into my email and check that listing and tell them that that's actually me. So that's how you do it right there with that little for sale sign. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any other questions? The recording is going to be on the YouTube site, which is the Virginias. Let's see what it's called. It is YouTube. Tell you just a second, sorry, I think it's Region 12, the Virginias. KW, the Virginias region. So youtube.com/C/KWVA West Virginia Region 12. So that's what it's called, KW, the Virginias region. If you search that, that will give you the trainings once they're uploaded later today.
I'll put it in the chat, please.
There you go.
Thank you.
And I guess that's it. So if anybody doesn't have any more questions, you are done early today. And I thank you so much for coming, and let us know if you have any questions.
Thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Sure.
Thank you.